Good karma, bad mom. Good karma, bad mom. Good karma, bad mom. Your new fave crew. Tell a friend tune in here so they can listen to.
Hi, my name's Karma, and this is my mom, Taisha. And
Hello.
And this is our podcast, Good Karma, Bad Mom. Hey, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you? It was good to see a beautiful face. It's been since last week. I was missing it.
There's been something on my mind.
Oh.
In my history class, we were talking about Martin Luther King. And someone said, yeah, but what was his killer's name? James Earl Grey. And then I remembered. I in like this one place I go to, it's like might as well call it like an indie thrift shop. They sell tea. And I got Harriet Tubman themed tea, and I'm pretty sure it was like orange, green tea something. And then I got a Martin Luther King themed tea, and it was Earl Grey tea. His killer's name was James Earl Grey. That's what made me alive.
Oh, well.
And it was good tea.
Okay. I just also think that Earl Grey is a tea.
I wonder if they knew.
You'd be surprised sometimes.
I didn't know.
No, I was about to say you'd be surprised sometimes some of like the undertone in which people do things in. So I guess we'd never know. They'd have like plausible deniability, right? Like, oh, this is just the Earl Grey tea.
Right. And I wonder if Harriet has something to do with oranges.
Why?
Because her tea was orange, and if they did Earl... But also...
It should have been sleepy time tea. Do you know why?
I feel like I do.
Well, let me hear.
Because we watched the movie. Although I'll never forget when my history teacher in middle school, we were talking about Harriet Tubman. It was like, she didn't do that much. She wasn't
Your
really...
history teacher.
Oh, like they did in Sinners?
Yeah, it was a palm class.
We just saw Sinners. And first of all, normally I can't handle a thriller or anything.
You still can't handle it.
No, I was amazing.
I was amazing. The only reason why you handled it, I feel like, for one, is because your Jamaican mango was there. You were damn near in his lap the whole time.
I did appreciate it. Like, even though I knew he wasn't scared, he was like, I would go like... And he would like pull me closer and like grip my arm.
So I got you, girl.
Yeah, so it's like, I know you're not scared at all. But no, it was a really good movie, but it was funny. I'm glad that it was funny.
Right.
First of all, can't even talk about it because spoilers.
Yeah, don't do that.
You know what I'm thinking about?
I don't.
Well, I just thought one of my favorite characters was Slim.
Okay.
But I thought he was a good comedic relief.
But speaking of sinners and zombies, vampires. I don't know why I said zombies. Where was I going with it? Oh, question that I had last night, question that I have for the audience is, would you want to be turned into a vampire if your loved one was turned into a vampire? Or would you just want to set your soul free?
We've had talks like this before because I love Twilight. I love Vampire Diaries.
I don't even know how you got into Twilight like that.
Tommy's mom. My little brother, Nicole, I remember having marathons with her.
Okay.
Like, she really liked it. And I remember, then, I feel like it's also just like a teenage girl thing. And then once you start watching Vampire Diaries, because and then remember during COVID, we were binging Twilight.
Well, in my defense, you were binging and you were yelling at me for falling asleep.
So I liked it. And so we've had talks where I'm like, if I turn into a vampire, would you turn me? And so we always have those talks. I mean, it's always like, if you're turned, I want to be turned. I want to.
Well, if I turned, I don't know if I would. I wouldn't want to turn.
It depends on what type of vampire.
I want to set your soul free. I don't want you to.
I can live without you though. That's the thing. Like,
one day you're gonna have to.
The times
we'll save that for another day.
I'm freezing you. You got me crazy. Oh, but since we're on the topic of shows, recently I've gotten into a lot of new shows.
Okay, let me hear it.
Panty and Stocking.
What is it?
Panty and Stocking.
And that's a show?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what type of show?
Like,
Is it like animation?
Yeah, it's an animation. But think of Powerpuff Girls, just raunchy. Like they're fighting. They're angels, and they're fighting
What's
stuff.
with you on raunchy stuff?
It's fun. I like the humor. Like, so the whole thing is like panty. She takes off her panties and it turns into a gun. And the one girl, her stockings turn into like a staff. I'm pretty sure it turns in either like a sword, something.
Okay. And what is this on? What are you watching it on?
Crunchyroll, and then My Dress Up Darling.
Crunchyroll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is that?
It's like for anime.
Okay. It's like a channel or a subscription?
It's like my fault, a subscription. Thanks to my Jamaican Mango, I have premium.
Okay. Out here delivering the premium
Yes.
status.
And then I've gotten to it, Dress Up Darling. And then this one isn't.
Dress Up Darling.
Mm-hmm. It's another anime.
So it's panties. What is this? First one?
Panty and Stocking.
Panty and Stocking and Dress Up Darling.
My Dress Up Darling.
Sounds like they go together. My Dress Up Darling, get your panties in.
No. And then I've gotten really into Chigawa, although it does have a TV show, but I read the manga.
Okay. And since you brought it up, I'm sure you're like holding stuff back. What is it that you like so much about Chiikawa?
Oh my gosh. I love how cute they are, but I also love, are
they animals? I'm just trying to like envision what these things are. Like I
showed it to
Chiikawa, and I forgot that fast. I envision Chiikawa, and I guess I think of like little Ewoks. Like, do you know what Ewoks are? They're like little furry. I think it's from
Star Wars?
Star Wars?
Oh,
I think so. But there was also like little Ewok movies. Don't quote me on that. I just feel like that was a thing.
Picture like little animals, like it's not Sanrio, but I know you know what that is, but it's actual animals and they live in their own world and they have rice cookers that always have rice in them out in the wild. But my favorite one is I like the restaurants. There's the ramen guy, and then like
what's the age level of the show?
Oh, everyone loves it. Like in Japan, it's really big. There's an alcoholic. One of them's an alcoholic.
Okay.
And he always makes such a cool face to like drink a beer and they're like, eh. And I think it's really cool.
What's the premise of it?
Basically just like Chiikawa and his friends, I don't know how to pronounce it, like Hachaware. It's like a mouse, a cat, and a bunny. I don't really like the bunny.
But those are the characters, but what's the premise of the show? Like,
They're
what's
just
it
living
about?
their life. Well, Chico is trying to get like a level 5 weeder. Because if you pick up weeds or fight the monsters...
Is this from a game?
No. It's a manga.
Okay.
And you read it.
I guess maybe... Oh, right, because you said it's not a show. This is something that you're reading.
It's both. But the show's really hard to get since it's not popular in the West.
I gotcha. Okay, so... Okay, now that makes more sense. That it's
But
in the
it's
book.
just so cute. And then there's like a whole plot. Like one of them, there's a flying squirrel that like isn't actually like...
It's not Sandy?
The flying squirrel took it's actually a demon, and it took the original flying squirrel's soul, and now the real flying squirrel soul is trapped in the demon's body.
Oh, wow.
So there's that.
Okay, so there's some stuff behind it. Well, that's something.
Mm-hmm. How's your week?
Oh my goodness, my week, it was kind of crazy. Speaking of my week, my nose ring... So probably about 8 weeks ago, because it took a while for it to get shipped here, my nose ring fell out in the shower.
And did it go down the drain?
Let me tell my story, because it gets kind of crazy. My black diamond, my stud. So, and once I take my glasses off, I'm like a Muppet. I have no eyes. I feel like I can't even see anything. So on the shower floor, I can see that there's something there. I don't know. In my mind, it was like, this is a bug. So I'm trying to scooch it down the drain. Like it's not going. I take the shower head and I'm spraying it down. Because at this point in time, I don't realize that my nose ring is missing. So I spray it down the drain. I get out the shower and everything. I'm looking in the mirror and then I'm like, my nose ring. And then it clicks. No wonder why it was so hard to go down, like, you know,
And
with
it
the
did end
stream
up
of
going
water.
down the drain?
Yeah, of course. I made sure. I like followed it with the hard stream too. Not even I turned it to the hard stream and like followed that. I was like, this spider will not.
And you didn't think it's not moving? This is a little weird.
I thought like it like curled up in itself. You know how
Well,
sometimes spiders do that?
Yeah, I can picture that, especially, I mean,
But I was like, what the hell is it gripping to? I did think that, but I was just like, maybe I'm not getting it. I can't see the greatest. I
Right.
just see the black dot.
yeah.
And I'm like, and what's really fucked up is I was like trying to make water so I could swoosh it with my foot. So anyways,
But for our audience who may not know what the black diamond is, you can just look at her ear, and that is like, think a little bit smaller. So I totally could see that because I'm picturing, and they do ball up.
right, yeah.
But you're brave. If I would have jumped right out the shower.
Oh, I'm just like, it's not crawling because it's not moving, so I can just, you know.
How sad were you when you?
Oh my goodness! I told
Black
Essence, and I was just like,
diamond,
"You
and
will
you've had that
not
for
understand."
years.
So then we get to the good part. I won't even say good part, the follow up, right? So Essence was like, I'll buy you one. Because, of course, I was extremely sad. And then not only was I sad, I told him that I lost my nose ring and that it went down the drain. And then after, I was like, well, this is actually how it happened. Like, not only did it go down the drain, but I like forced it down the drain. Was trying to hold back and not go. But I was like, no, go. So he buys me another one, and they're handmade.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't there something going on with black diamonds recently?
Oh, I'm not sure. Just where I buy my nose rings from, they're handmade. So
I'm looking at your one over here. So they're tiny.
right. So that's what the black diamond looks like. Except for it's just a stud. So took a few, like 5-6 weeks for me to get my replacement.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like 2 days ago, I'm in the shower.
No way. What happened?
I felt it when I was washing my face. Immediately turn off the water. Immediately.
Yeah.
And that fast it goes down the damn drain. Like, it didn't even need any push. It was like, you know what? She ain't pushing me. I'm just gonna go. It like dove off.
Like, so hurt for you. And I don't even need to ask how expensive they are because I feel like I can only guess. Quite literally money going down the drain.
Hello. And then, so I'm telling the Essence, I'm like, you won't believe what just happened. But the thing is, I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I can see it. And I've been complaining about the nose ring. It seemed like it was super loose.
Yeah.
And nose rings normally come in size 20 gauge and an 18 gauge. I got the 18 gauge because this is actually a 16. And sometimes I swap this from nose to nose, from nostril to nostril, hole to hole. So I feel like
the nose.
I feel like it got like stretched out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the twist. You know, I do the twist nose ring. So it came out way too easy. So I almost feel like it wasn't the exact size. But anyways, so we can see it. And Essence is trying to get it out. I get grandma's nifty tweezers, the long ones. So he starts tweezing it up and it like jumped off.
Was this time it actually a spider?
No. You would think, right? It like, he must have been
Grabbing it too hard.
yeah, and it. So then, and this is all before we have to go to work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. All before we have to go
And
to work.
aren't you his ride as well? So it's not even like it's just like, babe, I gotta go, I'm running late. It's like, neither of you can leave.
I took a shower. He hasn't taken a shower yet. So he's riding his motorcycle to work.
Okay.
Because I have to be there before him. But now it's like, granted, I lost my nose ring, but I saw it last, and I know you have to get in the shower, and clearly I can't blame you in any way, shape, or form, but I'm like, maybe we could have saved it if you didn't take a shower and finish forcing it down the drain. But to the, like, happy ending to the story, even though it fell down the drain, he was able to get the hair snake in some way, somehow.
It's in there?
He was able to get it back out.
Why aren't you wearing it right now?
it's too loose because it fell out 2 times, and I was like, not again. He's actually wearing it, and I'm gonna get
I'm gonna have to look at his nose.
yeah, I'm gonna have to get a 16 gauge black diamond stud.
I currently am having. I feel like this is
I
too
gotta get you
small.
one.
But honestly, I can't truly complain. Shout out to my bestie Lee, if you're watching, because I was having a hard time. My ball to my prior septum fell out, and I had it twisted.
Yeah.
So I was struggling, and she was like, "I have another one," and she had multiple. She was like, "Gold or silver?" Fun fact about me, even though I'm allergic to it, I prefer silver. And she did have a way, like, it looked like it was a little bit bigger gold one, but I don't care. If it looks cooler, I'm choosing silver.
Right.
But either way, it was a free nose ring.
And your other one, honestly, it was way too big.
Well, it was...
Oh, no, that was the other one prior to.
Yeah.
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 Well,
yeah.
we have... Whatever. We've been through a couple, and some of them, you did the pink one.
And I got so many compliments on it every time. I'm like, my mom hates this one.
I did. And then wasn't it pink and blue?
Mm-hmm.
It was just too much.
Yeah.
But you loved it. I did not. But you still wore it.
No, so I do need to get a little bigger one. But honestly, I love it so much because it's like my friend.
Oh.
So, you know.
A little talking point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I see you keep on staring at my hair. Say something.
No, it's just these 2 little curls right here. I'm just, I feel like they're like Medusa. They're like about to.
They're waiting for you to say something. They feel the energy, and they're just like, I wish he would.
Do you think people that get a Medusa tattoo, like, sometimes, like, they feel the possession of a snake?
No, I think that sometimes people just do stuff because certain things look cool.
Okay. Speaking of gods and goddesses.
Okay.
What's today's topic?
Today's topic is going to be about God and how our take on it, really, and just God, religion, and everything in between.
Sorry, sometimes I forget that I have a small scratch on here, so I'm like, what is this on my glass?
I try to ignore it because
I know, I'm sorry. I don't even know how it happened.
And that's the problem. We're not even going to talk about the glasses because let's not.
Oh, there was a bug.
Oh, there was a bug. Calm down.
You need to put vinegar in little corners.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
Every time I see a gnat, I say, if we had vinegar, this wouldn't happen. I said it to you when you were talking about the gnat flying in front of your face. It's like,
yeah, I was supposed to put vinegar in my pocket.
This is gonna be our best episode yet. Our editor is gonna be like, we're 20 minutes in, you haven't even talked about God.
That's funny. So I have definitely some questions for you. Do you feel like I should have included God more, just even religion, taking you to church, giving you just more of a religious background overall?
Yes and no. I do wish you did read me the Bible, like, from a young age, because I think one thing, it's like, okay, well, now it's kind of a struggle for me to, like, get into reading the Bible because it just sounds, like, so big and scary. Okay. Regardless if it even is, I know that it's nothing to be scared of, but it just is intimidating. Okay. You know, it's like, I see that. But I am grateful that you didn't necessarily, like, push it onto me. Now, I'm not saying you taking me to church is you pushing it onto me, but I just feel like sometimes it's like...
Well, I've never taken you to church.
I've only been once with Grandma and Auntie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just, sometimes I'm not the best at just sitting in a place for so long when I don't actually have something to do.
You mean where you can't talk?
So I don't think it, you know, I just don't think that would be my way. Like, not necessarily like Bible study or like, what they have at my college, like a church club. That's not what it's actually called, but like Bible club. Okay. Where they sit down and they do like activities. Okay. I went like a couple times. That was fun.
Well, and some churches are different as well too. Like some churches it's like you're standing up, you're praising God, you're really getting into the words, clapping, it's singing, people are catching the Holy Ghost. It's, I don't want to say black church or white church, but I do feel as if like there's a difference.
I don't know. I guess I just have such like from the one time I went, I don't remember. I don't mean this really. I don't remember it being like, not that church needs to be fun, but for me, it wasn't like.
Yeah, when you're younger, it's just like, if it's not fun, it just seems like, oh, this is boring. Why am I here?
Yeah.
I could see that.
And so it's just like, in my mind, it's like, I don't know. From the image I have of it in my mind, maybe it's a stigma. But it's like, okay, I would rather just go to like a club where we're doing activities, or maybe like even like a Bible study, to whereas, oh, let's read this passage together as a group and we'll highlight these things and then we'll talk about it.
Like, yeah, okay, I see that. I wish I would have got you more involved and just giving you more knowledge about it so then you can make your own decision. I feel like me leading kind of like, oh, just faith based, and then leaving, up in your hands like, oh, well, if you get to a point to where you want to go to church, I'm here to explore that with you. But I feel like I should have formed some foundation. So if you wanted to go, that's something that you could carry on. Or if you're like, yeah, I don't want to go, then you can make that decision. I wish I would have given you more. Your grandma used to take us to church.
Well, you made it almost like a fun thing.
When?
Just, you kind of made God a fun thing. I'm not saying, I don't know if I word that correctly, but like, I feel like I have my own thought of him because it's all this is what I view him as. I don't know how to fully describe it, but it was kind of just nice, because sometimes when I mean, when you see certain things and you're just like, that's crazy. I'm so glad that because so many people's like relationship with God have been ruined from their parents pushing on certain things like, well, this is how you have to be. God wouldn't want this or that. And it's like, I'm just so glad I didn't have to go through that, because my mom, she was like, this is God. He's so fun and safe and you should pray to him.
Right.
Before you go to bed, and he'll keep you safe. And this is how you pray. So I was like, okay. Because I may not go to church, but I will be, after we saw Sinners, I was like, please keep me in mind. Like, for a second, I zoned out when we were putting away groceries, and I felt bad because I was like, sometimes when I say in my head, it doesn't feel real, so I have to mumble it. So I was like, dear God. And then I see Essence, and they're just putting away the groceries. I was like, I should help them. So I will be quick to pray.
Yeah, I must say that, well, even on just a spiritual basis, I think I said religious prior. If I said that, I didn't mean to. I meant to say on a spiritual base, as far as believing in God. I definitely believe in God. Even if I'm confused in some ways about the religion aspect, and there's reasons of why I'm confused and why to me personally, it just feels like there's a lot that goes behind the religious aspect that keeps people divided. And it's just hard for me to think that that's the way that it's supposed to be. I just think that if we're good people and believe in God and pray and just ultimately be good, I feel like that's the way that we should be.
Exactly how I feel. I feel like God's not going to crash on Danny if you curse on a Sunday or you're drinking heavily. I feel like as long as you do, yes, maybe you get into some of the give into some of your vices. I think as long as you are a good human being at heart, I don't think he would fault you for being a human being.
And then sometimes hearing you say some of those things makes me feel as if it's almost like, how do you know because you didn't read the Bible or anything or know anything on a religious base? And that's my fault. Like, I think, I don't want to cut you off because I know that isn't one of your questions, but I think that is a really good question. And I want to answer that because Grandma said something similar. For our audience, our grandma, love her to death, she's very much into God.
And she's rereading the Bible. So she sent me a couple texts. She's like, I really hope you and your boyfriend get baptized or you won't go into heaven. So it's just like, but it's good in her heart. And
I think that, not even to, I guess that could be a great question that we could ask her, right? Sometimes I feel like, people then find their way back to God. And then I wonder if it's like an age base or something like in your life happened to where if you did stray away and then you come back and then you just want everybody that you love to be saved and make sure that you're all winding up in the same spot, spiritually.
But to answer your question, I don't think that makes sense. I don't think that you should have to read the Bible to know God. In my heart, that I know that God would, as long as I am a good person and I'm not giving into, like, I'm not being gluttonous, like in a full sense. Like, I'm not, yes, I made a mistake and I wasn't the best person, but I'm not going out here and just using that as an excuse and killing someone, Like, I'm making mistakes as a human being, but I'm still being a good person. I feel like that, I don't.
No, I get what you're saying, but I guess also what I was saying was just some of the, not that you didn't read the Bible or anything. It's just like you pretty much don't know only what I've told you or, God as being a spiritual being, right? But then there's just the whole religious side of it as well, too. So you don't know like the 10 Commandments or anything like that. So I guess like that's where I'm coming from as like the comparison.
In the Bible, there's the 10 Commandments, like,
yeah,
like in like you have the right to bear arms.
Thou shalt not. Yeah,
that like the right to bear arms. No, that goes with the Bible. Like, what do you mean by the?
You're thinking of. Why am I drawing a blank? The 10 Commandments, and you're thinking of like our constitutional rights, our Bill of Rights. Is Bill of Rights the thing? I feel like even that, I don't even know why that, but that just, you're thinking of our constitutional rights.
Yeah.
But you're like the Bible law. And as our audience can see, clearly we're not religious people, but there are the 10 Commandments, and those are the laws that are set. And I feel like maybe laws are they're the commandments that are set that you're supposed to follow. And in the Bible, there's parts where God is saying stuff and where he's saying like what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. And then sometimes that's open to where people interpret it and go their own way with it. And where some people like to pick and choose what commandments they're going to follow, while others they're just going to put on the back burner and ignore. That's the one thing that I don't like, honestly. I don't like how somebody can say, however people feel is however people feel. But I can't stand when somebody's like, oh, this is a sin, but they're doing something that is a sin as well, too. And it's like all that stuff in the eyes are equal. They say that all sins are equal except for, I believe it's praising another God.
Is eating pork actually one?
Is eating pork a sin?
Or is it like shrimp? There's something weird that people like.
Shrimp?
So I have a question for you. I guess this is perfect topic, actually. Go me. But
go me.
What is your relationship with God like? / like, how do you view him?
Okay, yeah, it's a perfect segue about what we were just talking about. The way that I view it, my relationship with God, I think my relationship with God is very strong in my personal opinion. God-fearing, and in the sense that I believe and I pray. I make sure that I'm doing all the things to be a good person.
And you're so strict with your prayers.
I am.
The amount of times I've been like, pray for this with me. And she's like, I'm not wasting my prayer.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm not, because sometimes it's just like, oh, I want to pray that I'm going to get an A on a test. Like, no, put the work behind it and
I word it
achieve
differently
that
now.
A.
Like when we do like hold hands before we pray, I don't know if you noticed, sometimes it's like, please help us do all we need to do to get through these hard times. In reality, I mean, it was like, please help me with these finals.
Yeah, and it's like help us help ourselves. And I'm thankful. I make sure that, I say thank you for not only the strength that I have to achieve my goal, but instilling that in me, because some people are like, oh, I did it myself. But how do you know if that didn't come from somewhere within? I feel like God is within me. I feel like I hear and I'm in tuned emotionally. It's just like an inner dialogue almost that I feel like that I have, and I feel like that's God like talking to me in certain ways. When, let's just say, if there's something that I want to give up on, and there's just like, don't, you just have to keep on going, and I just take a moment and I center myself, I feel like that's God. I don't feel as if I have to go to church. I do, and I've always wanted to expand and learn about other religions.
I do have a little note that I want to talk about that later on.
Yeah, that's just something that I want to do, because it's just, even in the conversation of it.
Perfect segue to have your tattoo out.
Oh.
Because you're African goddesses.
Oh, yeah. I just feel that there's just no way that, one God is accurate, or
one religion's correct. I like to imagine that they're all like up there in the sky. I mean, I know it sounds corny, but it's just, sometimes I feel like it's just like a guilty pleasure almost to imagine like they're up in the sky, and Zeus and Jesus, they're just the best of pals, which it's just like, I like to think that they're all comrades, and it's like, watching out on my religion, you watch out on yours.
Right. And I mean, realistically, who knows? But I think to sit here and say that one is more in the forefront of another, I don't know. That just seems.
Because I would be so hurt. I'd be so hurt if like someone, if I was, not saying I'm not, but like if I was like full on die hard going to church every Sunday, and then someone said that to me, I would have been like,
well, I mean, we've talked about this before. Clearly, wars are fought over this. I mean, to this day. My God is better than your God, or won't even like saying that it's better. It just comes down to a whole lot of confrontation, and that's where the whole religious standpoint gets me. But as far as a whole, as God, I believe.
I just think I like to keep an open mind with everything, because I've had my little moments where I'm like, I don't know why my brain is short circuiting, but paganism, that's not how you pronounce it. And I don't know what's going on. Pagan. I was like, oh, that seems cool, and I do think it's cool. Do I know anything about it?
So then why do you think it's cool?
Because I've read little segments, and I'm like, that seems really free-flowing and cool. And then also the gods that are around it, like, seem pretty neat. So I want to learn more about other religions. Like Tyreek's playing.
I don't. Paganism. I know that there's a lot of negative thoughts behind it. But I just feel like I don't want to say that I think something's good or something's bad when I don't know about it. So I can't be like, oh, I think that it's cool just because a little certain part of it might seem enticing, when there could be like a whole bunch of stuff that is not. I just think that you should probably do more research.
No, and I want to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like this is my religion. No, I just think that it's cool. But
what do you think's cool about it? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, what part of it?
It just, when I picture in my mind.
Okay, tell me.
Well, let's put our heads together.
This is how I get it.
Hearing. It's just
that nothing came through. I thought it was going to be followed up with some words.
I like picture, okay, this is so corny and cheesy, but I just picture like just having a sense in spirituality.
Okay, they don't believe in using words.
Sense in spirit. What is going on today? So having a sense in spirituality, like just spirit. Your third eye's open. Your third eye's open, and I picture like you're put down a tarot card. You know what it means immediately, and you just have a sense in the upper power. You know. Which I don't think that's correct, which is why I'm not going to say that I know what it means because I know that I don't.
Right, but
I want to learn
you think
more.
that it's cool.
I shouldn't have said that I think it's cool. I should have said, it seems enticing. I want to learn more.
Right, but and I'm not like trying to...
I feel like I'm on the hot lamp.
Yeah, put you on the hot seat
because
or anything. I just want to know like where your correlation is coming from that something's good or bad. We just spoke about how I feel, me personally, you know, the religious aspect of religion and God, how I'm, you know, that's something, for lack of better words, I don't rock with, but I rock with God. I want you to be able to articulate it so I can understand.
I think this is what it is. I feel like I really want to get into like knowing herbs and knowing like the spirituality behind it.
There you go.
And knowing the meaning, like, you know, like, so when I'm cooking,
right.
I know this.
So,
and I think when I think of paganism, I picture like, you know what these herbs mean. And just, I picture like spirituality. I had it.
You gotta say it low.
Spirituality. So I picture that. But we're getting off topic.
Right. We are.
You know, because my Jamaican Mango, he's also playing a video game right now about Norse.
I don't know.
Norse gods and goddesses.
Okay.
It's like the god of war. And it's like, oh, these are so cool. I know some of these people's names, but I had no idea what they mean. And he explained them to me. I was like, oh, these are cool. So it's just like, and even just every religion has really cool gods. That's all I was getting at. I apologize for the word that I use because you are correct. If you don't know anything about something, you shouldn't call it.
Well, it's not even calling. I just want to know what your take on it is. Like how
I just picture like
some of our audience, and then even me,
connected to the earth. You know, you're grounded, and you wah, and you're a tree hug. Well, not a tree hug, but you know, like just like you.
I think that
herbal medicine.
I'm about to Google it real quick because what I thought, and we are getting a little off topic, so then keep on talking while I look it up. Because what I thought paganism was like, I know that Christmas. I won't say I know, but I've heard that Christmas is a pagan holiday. Mm-hmm. I've heard that some things that happen are
something with a log. And
that happen as far as like gluttony and being extremely promiscuous and like having a day of just adultery and running rampant. Like when that's what comes to my mind because that's what I've always heard coming up in the church, and then with, you know, grandma or whatever, it's like, oh, like it's bad. Like that's how I
associate as like somebody who's very like hippie.
Okay, and it says, as we know, it's a noun, a person holding religious beliefs other than those of the main or recognized religions. And I'm sure that it goes way deeper than that.
Yeah, because there's like multiple types. Sometimes people...
okay. So it's somebody that practices, they say, such as Wicca,
I was just about to say, because there's...
neo-pagan. Okay, so that could be another topic because do pagans believe in God? Let's see. Yes, many pagans believe in God. Okay, some believe in many gods, honoring multiple gods and goddesses, while others view as aspects of single. Okay.
After this podcast episode, all you're going to hear from my room is deep dives because now you have me interested. Because after this, you can ask me a question and I will stay on track. But my auntie's husband, he's kind of like, he does tarot. He's very much like well-rounded when it comes to crystals and just stuff of that sort. Okay. And I said this before because I did have a big phase. There was like one time where I was like, I really like Aphrodite. she's so cool. And I was like, I should put a rose quartz underneath my pillow for her. So just like little silly things like that. So I was like, I want to learn about paganism, because obviously when you go on, maybe this is why I have such a like a crazy, I don't think it's the correct way to think about it, because of TikTok. You know, because around that time I was like seeing all these videos, like that seems so cool. And my uncle asked me the same question. I just sat there dumbfounded because I realized like I have no idea what it means.
Right.
So that when I guess I did get a little like, oh, clutch my pearls when you asked me what it means, because it's like I have a thought and I don't want to say what I'm thinking because I feel like I know that it's not the correct thought and I don't want to sound stupid.
Oh,
like when I said like, oh, I picture somebody who's well-rounded or into spirituality, I just feel like that sounds like very much like
well, that's the way that you see it. I just wanted to know what if you had anything behind it. So
I just think I was like, I know I have no idea what this means, and I don't know why I said cool, and I just feel like my back's up against the wall. They're shooting at me. So just
well, I mean, not to go down that rabbit hole either, but that's even something I feel like even with songs. Sometimes you like
I feel like sometimes I have a very bad habit of like, I don't care if that's what it actually means. This is how I interpret it, and this is my correct way of thinking. You can think how you want to.
But then you're reciting this and words have power.
Yeah,
and it's almost like you're chanting it.
Yeah.
You know?
I can no longer play Deftones or Nirvana in this household. So, like my CD player, I just know not to play certain records.
Yeah, I'm very big on words have power. So,
and you know what's funny is Tariq, my Jamaican Mango. He does, obviously he thinks like that to an extent, but whenever I'm like, babe, words have power, he's like, they only have power if you let them have power. And he's like, and I'm not gonna let that control me. I'm gonna say what I want to say, not in like a crazy way. And you know, but he's also
there's scientifically proven that.
Oh,
in that regard,
run that back, send that to him.
Yeah,
but
we could even do another episode on that as well too.
That would be a good topic. Write that down.
I'll type it down.
Do you have a question for me?
Was that your question? I do. I have tons of questions for you. This is a good one. So your brother found God, and then how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel inspired, indifferent, conflicted?
Okay, so inspired. When I went to college, I felt very I was having a very rough moment, and I just felt like I was gonna spiral out and go back to some like really bad habits. And I was like, I'm better than this, and I just know it's because I feel so alone because I wasn't there with you. And I was currently going through a rough patch with some friends that I made there. So I felt so isolated, and I was very paranoid. So I was like, okay, well then I need to get into God. And everybody around me at the current time, the one friend that I had that I was kind of not falling out with, but we were drifting. And then my current very good friend that I have on campus, she's very into God. So it's just and then my brother's getting into it, so I'm just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, I should
and I got you the Bible,
and I was praying so much, and I was just and I felt better. And then once I felt more confident in myself, I kind of was like, oh, okay, well, I'm good now. I mean, obviously, like I said before, I still pray, but seeing my brother tells me I like to think he tells me everything. And I remember one time he was like, I really was feeling like I was drifting away from God, and then I felt the Holy Spirit. And for me, I'm not saying I believe him fully. I truly
believe,
I do believe that, I'm just so happy for him that he felt that.
Right.
Because I feel, especially at a young age, sometimes it's just that's not real. People are going to think no, I fully believe you with every bit of my heart, but I want to understand it. I can believe it, but I want to understand it for him. And especially, I want him to be able to talk to me.
Right, but how about you? How does that... Okay, so I guess how would he talk to you? Do you want him to talk to you in I won't say a persuasive way, but I want
us to be able to have conversations about it. Just how I
have a conversation about it.
He's the reason why I want to get into God, because recently I've kind of I've been talking about it more, I feel and I've even talked to my Tariq. I was like, do you believe in God? And he said something, and when he said it, it felt like everything ran into place. He was like, I do. I just don't know what to do with it. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. So I want to read the Bible. I would be willing to go to a church for him.
Well, do you know what religion your brother is? Is he a Catholic? Is he a Christian? Is he
Christian,
a
I'm pretty
Protestant?
sure.
Is he?
Is that the one that does Ash Wednesday?
Nope, that's Catholic.
And they do the one where you like fast for like till Easter.
Yeah, it's Catholic.
Oh, so Catholic.
And then yeah, there's like difference between there's like sub-religions.
Yeah. Just like I guess that's with everything because we saw Wiccan, Neo.
Yeah.
So, but no, like I think I've kind of always been like okay with how I felt with God. Like I knew that I may not have knew the most, but it was enough for me because I had my own thought of him. But now it's like, well, I want to become fully immersed in it for him.
Okay, so
Am I still not answering your question correctly?
No, not really, because I just want to know. I guess then it would, if this is fair to say. So what I'm taking in, and then I'm going to toss right back at you. You feel as if you have a disconnect, is what it sounds like. Because if you want to,
Well, I just feel like not really, because I guess. But if I only have belief, I don't have religion. He has belief and religion. So I guess you are correct. But I'm just...
and if you want to sit there and be able to have a conversation, I guess would your conversations be some of the questions that you have now,
Mm-hmm.
and then he would be answering them and bringing you to light? Or do you want to be able to be like, okay, well, I read this. This is how I interpret it, and then well, which one? I said two scenarios.
I think the one where it's like, I read this Bible verse, what did you think of it? Like, this is what I thought.
And then so to be able to have a conversation about it, because
And not be like how I got choked up with, like, I see it, that freaking nap from earlier, but I like just
fruit bowl almost got me.
Did not get it. Anywho, but just like with pagan, and I truly couldn't give you like what a hard definition is. I want to be able to give him, like, if he asks me a question, I want to be able to lead him in the right direction and not get choked. I'd be like, I don't know, and I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Right.
But I'm inspired and I'm happy for him, and I can never be more proud of him than I am right now. Well, I could always be more proud of him, but I'm so proud of him. And it's infectious.
Okay, so then
Did I answer it now?
Well, you're getting there.
Oh man.
No, but I'm trying to coach my answer. I just want a full answer. So
I got it.
With your brother finding religion, and I guess maybe the way that he talks to you and him being your little brother, you just said inspires you to want to learn more about
Religion, yeah.
religion. And
Because he says certain things. Because me and my friend back at college, we have like a little inside joke. Because we'll be like, it's not gossiping, it's spreading the gospel. And he's like, that's not actually what that means. And he like put down his like a hammer fist. And he was like, that's actually really like rude to say, and you shouldn't say that. And I was like, oh. And I was like, like how older, like when your younger when your younger sibling says something to you and he's telling like, this is wrong. It's like, ugh, I'm not going to listen to you. But then you think about it more and you're just like, okay, I want to understand like why he got so truly offended to put down a hammer fist.
Right.
When I was clearly making a joke, and just like, obviously I want to understand it. And I want to be able to be like, oh, okay.
Right. I guess maybe he probably felt like it was disrespectful, right? You're like sitting here making a joke about, to you, it just seems like a joke, but to him,
it's deeper.
You're what you're quoting or whatever you're saying and turning around, those are real verses that now is being tied to like hee hee ha ha. And it's like, ain't shit funny.
Right. And I want to be able to,
that'd be like if I said God was good and then somebody was like, I would be like, damn, that's crazy. God is good.
Honestly,
all the time, audience.
Tommy, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, because I know how that feels. At the, we would pray before our exams last semester, and I always go, dear God, like that's how I would start it. And this one girl, she would just always giggle. And I would just be like, well, how else do you want me to start it?
Right, you could start yours how you want to start.
And I was like, well, do you want to pray? And then she would pray in another language. Which, like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, well...
Yeah, that's a little unfair.
Yeah.
Well, we're all here together. Like, are you talking about me? Or maybe she's saying, dear God, in another language, starting it just how you did. She was like, I like that.
So I do understand that. And I guess putting it in a different perspective. But I do have a question for you. I have to figure out which one I want to do. This, I did just say this, so I might as well just ask it. What do you do with your belief? Because I do have a belief, but sometimes I don't know where to put it. Since I don't go to church, I'm not the best at reading the Bible. Because when we had that conversation, and I don't like it when someone says anything, and then it makes perfect sense to me, because then I feel like I'm
thinking of it that way.
Yeah, and then that's what I felt like, but you put in the perfect words. So shout out to you, Dreamy Domingo.
Shout out to you. I'm sorry, what was your question again?
What do you do with your belief? Because I do have beliefs, but sometimes I just don't know where to put it since I don't go to church and I'm not the best with reading the Bible.
What I do with it? I guess I just nurture it.
Mm-hmm. But how do you do that?
I nurture it in the sense of, it almost goes back to what I had said earlier, just being thankful for everything that I have. And instead of thinking that I'm doing everything on my own, I feel that there is a divine power that is allowing me to do certain things. It's just like, oh, okay, I need to, let's just say I need to, if I'm like stranded on an island somewhere. Yeah.
Do you pray before you ride your motorcycle?
Oh, I pray before I ride my motorcycle. I pray before,
do you feel like he's there with, when you're thinking of an example, to me, I feel like I know it is dangerous, but I know it's not like you're jumping off a cliff, something like that, but I feel like it's a high risk, high reward type thing, riding a motorcycle. So I could imagine like with certain things, like, I mean, this sounds silly to people, but I am genuinely very paranoid. Sometimes when I'm going down like a really dark hallway, I'm just like, he's here with me, guys. I'm not alone. So is it like that?
And in those situations with my mind, right, I feel like that's the devil trying to creep in.
And Auntie gave me the best tip ever. And viewers, if you deal with paranoia or you just think like someone's going to get me, just go, get behind me. I know people are probably like, that's silly. And I thought the same thing too. But it helps. And maybe it's psychological, but I just immediately, like, all my bad thoughts go away. Like, sometimes in the bathroom, I'll think, Bloody Mary, and I'm like, she's going to appear.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, get behind me. Because it's like, I don't even want to think. Or when you're praying, and suddenly you say a curse word, and you're like, I have to start over.
Yeah. So that's what I do with it. I just... And I don't let things... take me away from my belief in God. So in the sense that if something horrible was to happen, which does happen, right? Every single day. Perfect example when I got MS.
Oh. No. You know what? I'm just going to let you speak.
Like when I got MS, it's not like I'm cursing God. Why would you do this to me? I do realize that we have free will. Right? So if I have free will, that means other people have free will. So and there's just so many elements, when people get taken from us way too soon, either by, somebody was murdered or something of that nature. Of course it's sad that happens, but I'm not like, why, if there was a God, he wouldn't do this. I just feel as if God didn't do that. That person did that because people have free will. You had the will to do that, so that person did that. And I don't believe that God could just stop us from having free will. Right. I believe that he's like an aura around us, and we can try to tap in by maybe hearing him or being protected, our thought wise, and not having those types of intrusive thoughts. And I do believe that there's power in prayer, but I don't think that he's able to stop somebody else from making those types of decisions, right? I believe that also it's the after, the spiritual side, where we're going to be able to really be blessed and like just free of all these things that we're here with. Certain pain, certain, like, maybe if you're hungry, I know that's like well, not small. People starve, unfortunately, every day, certain poverties that people face that, once you leave this body, and then spiritually, that's where you're going on to. So that's what I believe.
I think what you said was perfect and amazing, but I also got into the habit because I feel like it's sometimes you say it and you don't even realize what you're saying. When I was like, God's testing me today. And sometimes I would do that when like something would go bad during college, and I started going, the devil is testing me today.
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like it is.
Yeah, and it's funny because I like to believe that he did this because of me, but I noticed that like Tariq started saying that too. So it's like, yeah, I fault of it myself. I feel like it's just like habit because you hear it, someone's like, God's testing me. But like, no, why would he test me? Really, that's the devil over here trying to get me to be rude in me.
To backslide and to not be a good person. Evil loves company. I say that all the time. Misery loves misery. And if it could pull you down, then it will.
My nose is so itchy.
Probably got a gnat in there.
Not everything's a gnat.
Oh, well, I'm just going, but you almost threw your damn glasses. Not hit me with the fake laugh.
Do you have another question for me?
I do.
No way.
But I feel like seeing how it's already been answered actually, because we've skipped, like you've answered my questions and then they've,
turned into deeper discussions.
Yeah. God, so my next one. So I guess when you think of God, excuse me, what comes to your mind? Like what comes to your mind personally? Like when you think of God, what do you think?
My grandma.
Okay.
I just think of my grandma and I think of all the posters she had. So it's like, I know people are always like, God actually wasn't white. But grandma has this one poster, I know you know which one I'm talking about, where it's just like the usual one you see where he's white, he has a beard, he has very long hair, and he's praying. So it's just, I seen it all the time growing up. So it's like, that's what comes to my mind. But I also, this is horrible.
You picture a white Jesus?
Because that's what I seen.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Yeah, I mean, don't. Hey now.
Hey now, hey now. But
Okay.
yes, but that's just because that's what I seen growing up. I feel like
That just, not to cut you off, but it just makes me think of Renaya with Santa Claus.
oh,
Like Santa? Yeah.
yeah.
When she was just like, I don't send Black Santa over here because I'm trying to get some gifts. Because to her, in her little mind at the time, Santa Claus, all the Santa Claus that she's seen were white, and that's the Santa Claus that brings gifts. So
he must be bringing coal or something.
like, don't be.
And for our guest, and for our listeners, Renaya is our goddaughter, god sister.
I was about to say she's my god baby, but yes, she's my goddaughter. Or I thought you were saying like duo. Like she's our goddaughter.
Oh no, she's your goddaughter, my god sister. But I also, this is really horrible, but Key and Peele.
Okay.
They did a skit with Jesus. I don't know if you remember, but it was like basically like he was like a pimp, and it was so funny. And it's like, but also like sometimes with R. Kelly, I can't take what he did seriously because of the episode in the Boondocks. So it's just.
Oh, wait, but you can't take what R. Kelly did seriously?
Well, obviously, yes, I can. It was a horrible thing. But sometimes it makes me giggle when I think of him because when I always think about in the closet, and I also think of the Boondocks. And then I think deep down I was like, wow, that's really horrible what he did. But I also just think of not of R. Kelly, but when I think of Jesus, I think of like a warm, loving light. It's almost like once I forget that, I guess once I move past the poster, I just think of him as not like a person. I just think of him as like a entity. Is that the right word? It's just a warm, glowing, loving light.
But why do you think of grandma? You think of grandma just from the correlation of the pictures and stuff?
No, because grandma is obviously now my brother, but growing up, grandma was really the only person being a preacher. I feel like she was always like, God this, God that, you should read this, you should read that, or here's this prayer. So, I just feel like she's just so into God. It's like,
oh, speaking of, it just, hearing you say all that stuff, it just reminded me of, do you remember the wooden cross that Aunt Tina gave you?
Mm-hmm. And I wore that across my neck every single day.
Yeah, no, you would not take that thing off.
Well, because I remember it like it was yesterday. We were at a bonfire with something. I know grandma was there. And I just feel like someone told me, I was like, yeah, this will protect you from all evil.
Maybe it was Aunt Tina that she gave it to you.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, you're not going to let evil get to me. But I remember it got gross because my hair got all caught up in it.
And then, change that string out.
And then the silver.
Yeah, and then you had the rash all on your neck. It was
real silver, but the fake one.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
But you had that wooden cross for years.
Yeah.
It was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandma got us, she bought us a cross when we were younger. A little gold cross, a little pendant.
One thing I really want to understand is rosary.
That's Catholic. Oh. They're rosary beads. So then that's...
And Tommy's?
That's I don't
Ash Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like his brother had, I almost said ash beads, had rosaries that he gave to him.
Okay.
And I've known a couple people who are like really, if somebody wears it and they're not necessarily like screaming religion, they're like, you can't wear that. And she's like,
I don't think that's cool.
Yeah, and then the one girl...
unless you're being disrespectful to somebody's religion.
She was just wearing it, and she still had to be slightly alternative, so like, you can't wear that. And she was like, my mom gave this to me. And I think she said, like, I don't even think it was a mom. I just know that it was crazy because it was like someone who died gave this to me.
Right. And see, that's what I'm saying. My outer appearance has nothing to do with my inner
belief.
Right. That's just like, jeez.
It's
not cool, though.
You said G. I said this.
Because first of all, as religious as I'm not, there's certain things that I don't like. And that is one of them.
What?
Don't play now. When I don't like when you say Jesus in a harsh way.
I wasn't saying it in a harsh way. You said G and we're talking about God. So I finished off with sis. I wasn't saying it in a harsh way.
Okay. That is true. It was a good pull together.
What's that? Do you have a favorite Bible quote?
And that's funny because I might have when I was younger. Just because we were so much into going to church, and when we went to church, there was an upstairs, and then there was the kids would go down to the basement. And how you said like, oh, it wasn't fun. We would do Bible verses and you would get stickers. I'd have to find my Bible because it is like covered in stickers. You would get stickers like when you would participate, and it was this black Bible that your grandma had got me. And then she had got me, that I still have now, this green Bible.
Ooh, what type of green?
Just like a dark green that has my name inscribed in it. But no, I don't per se have a favorite Bible quote that I could recite that I remember.
I apologize if I look super sweaty. It's hot in here.
Yeah, that's why I got a tank top on. I'm normally not. But I don't. Why? Do you have a favorite Bible verse or something?
No.
Okay.
I think the closest I've gotten to like fully reading the Bible is I remember you had like this kid book, and it would talk about like stories from the Bible, but like in a softer way for kids.
Right. Well, I think this conversation wasn't about finding answers, because definitely aren't going to find them through us, but it was about asking them.
Yes.
And I'm proud of us for even going there.
I think sometimes it's like I can't talk about this topic. Almost like, I'm not comparing the two, but it's like the Swifties, if you say anything bad about Taylor Swift, they're coming for you.
Yeah, I feel like this wasn't like, was it easy?
We are not preachers.
Right. We're not. And we're not on opposition more than what we said. We're just looking for understanding of certain things, and that we'll find. And it's just questions that we had. And it's not always easy, but I feel like it was worth it.
Yeah, and I feel like this was a good episode. And it feels nice to be able to talk it out.
Yeah. And that's what it's about, without being condemned.
Mm-hmm.
This is a safe space.
Anyone like has any good recommendations? Like maybe fun Bible isn't the right word, because that isn't the right word. But like something that helped you get into God. If you haven't, where.
Yeah, and did you guys get into God from a wee little one? Were you like born into it, or did you find God in your older years? And I guess if you did, what you're asking is, how did you come about that? So
thank you.
Hit us up at hello@Good Karma Bad Mom. Leave a comment underneath our podcast. Where can they find it?
At either Spotify. I was about to say at Good Karma Bad Mom, but we are on almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple Music. You said something the other day where it was like Piddlewee.
Podbean. Piddlewee.
Podbean. And if there isn't a spot where we are and where you listen, let us know and we'll try to get over there. We have an Instagram, a Facebook, a YouTube.
Website. We have many ways where you can communicate with us. And we'll definitely chat back with you.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, I like to say, let's keep it real, let's keep it honest, and keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoy listening to this episode, as Karma already said, you know where to find us, and we'll be here next week.
Good Karma, Bad Mom, your new fave crew. Tell a friend, tune in here so they can listen to. We get real, we heal, and start spilling some tea. 100% hard with a dose of comedy.